Wow, it's been a while. It's been a long time coming. So yeah, sorry if it took this long. And I gotta say, man, it's been kind of a roller coaster. Getting a job, blah blah blah. You gotta upgrade your equipment at some point. Yeah, at some point. And got an early birthday present. See that guy over there? He's cute, right? Yeah, he's cute. He's cute. Yeah, but then otherwise, okay. Now in this particular session, I just feel like I should have done this way earlier in the channel at some point. But hey, it's better late than never. Anyways, let's not waste any time. Let's just begin with it. Yeah, sweet. Yeah, yeah. Hence what I'm saying. In this session of a video, it's really about your phases, like your starting point, like like basically like where we all start. We start by picking up your camera. You start by picking up your camera, and then normally what we do is we go to these dials, like these first dials, like these dials right here. I don't know if you can actually see them. Yeah, we start by doing that, and then we pick up a camera for the first time, and then we just start shooting. We don't care. We just start shooting. We just shoot. Normally we don't actually care what's happening behind the camera. We don't care what's happening in front of the camera. We just see a person. We just want to take pictures, and then that's it. And then in some cases, for some people, in this segment, usually we are not inspired. It's not our first passion. It's not our first hobby. We just start with what we see and what we can actually pick up, and then we just start going along and just start shooting all around. And then like in this most cases, for some of you that have actually started out like myself, like nobody taught you how to hold the camera, nobody taught you how to use manual, nobody taught you how to, like, you just actually picked up a camera and then you just started shooting. You had no idea what you were doing, but then you just started shooting. You just went and shot so many shots. You didn't care what happening, and then at some point you started developing this curiosity about a camera. You just picked it up. You just started shooting, then you picked up this curiosity. Okay, what does this do? What does that do? Okay, now this is where we actually start with those dials. Normally we go on full on automatic. We just go on full on automatic. Like, we don't care. We just tap. We just go on full on automatic. I've been a part of this. It's something which I'm also like guilty of, where I've picked up a camera, just switched the camera to automatic, and then I just let the camera decide what to do. That's because I didn't know what these other dials at the top were actually doing. Just started with automatic, just went through, didn't care. And then you start to develop this curiosity. Okay, what does this style do? What does this style do? And then you start hearing other camera people telling you about manual. What is manual? It's the M dial, usually on a DSLR camera. That M dial, it's your manual. That's where you actually overall control of everything, what you're gonna do. Then you do this, you start learning about manual, how to control the aperture, how to control your ISO, how to control your f-stop, your lenses, and blah 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 blah. Then usually you continue, you keep on shooting and shooting and shooting, developing your skills, developing everything, and then at some point you get to that point where now it's very comfortable to use manual. But yes, now and again you still switch back to the other dials, but then you just feel comfortable using manual, and then you start continue using manual, and then you start experimenting with your different lenses. This is part of a journey. Need I remind you, this is just part of the journey. This is part of your phase. This is called your beginner phase, where you have this camera, you just start shooting, you don't care what it is, and then someone tells you about manual, and then you start learning about manual. What is manual? What does manual do? Why is manual so important if you want to be a creative or a professional or things like that? Usually that's what it does. Manual. Start experimenting with manual, you go along, and then usually at this point you get a peak. You start to go up. As you start to go up, and then you then sort of discover these certain styles, like there's bokeh, there's separation from the background, blah blah blah. You understand? Yeah, that's where you actually start to get. Then you start to discover this thing called flattery photography. Then you start getting artistic photography. Then you start to get all this type of photograph that you can actually do. And then usually here at this peak point, you start to experiment with things, start to experiment with shooting outside, shooting indoors, having lights, having a background, having studio lights, having so many things. You started to experiment as you go along. You grow with your craft. You grow, you come up, you grow everything, and then you start to hear about full frame, crop sensors, blah blah blah. I think I've actually explained all of those in the channel before. If you haven't, and then I think I'll have the video link at the end, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I'll have the video linked at the end of this. Yeah. Now at this point, this is where your most crucial decision, you have to decide whether you're becoming professional, whether you're becoming artistic. Generally, these two are quite similar, but different in a way. They're quite similar, but different in a certain way, in a distinctive way. Now, your professional people will have one type of photography that they do. They will have one type. They will actually specialize in that different. Yes, they might have a variety of other things, but there's a distinctive style that they actually shoot. Usually, for some people, it's maternity. Some people, it's birthday parties. Some people, it's 21st birthday parties. Some people, it's studio. Some people, there's so many. hence I'm saying this is where you decide whether you going to become professional or creative. Now creatives usually they just do they just experiment with everything. Like they just experiment with everything. They always have like ideas. They always have like this eye. It's a very different eye from your professional people. This eye usually it sees a story or a poetic point of view or something which is like a very distinctive difference between your professional and your creative. Your creative has this unique eye. Oh, now you see like this eye. It's very seriously. It's very distinctive. It's very storytelling. It's very right-sighted, like right-brained, like very autistic and stuff like that. Now, after you have actually decided that, after you've actually decided that, then you start to experiment. You start to go out, meeting other people. You start to be, I don't know, like you start to develop like this sense of style that you actually you and only you kind of happen. Like this is how you shoot. Everybody knows you for this type of shooting, nobody else. Yeah, and then as you continue right along, and then everything just comes naturally. Like that's how your style is. And then now at this start, something very interesting actually happens. Maybe at this point you want it to become a business, or you want it to become a hobby. If you want it to become a hobby, then that's a whole different section altogether. So if you want it to become a hobby, that means you have a job at the side, and then you just do this for the fun. Maybe to get like, let's just say maybe it's your side hustle. Now for people who want to do this for a career, for life, like this is your meat, your ikigai, you love it, it's your passion, you want to make money out of it, you want to make ends meet, you want to put a plate at the end of the day, then this is your bread and butter. Like it's everything for you. Then this is quite where you have to get to understand the means of marketing. Now, as an endeavor photographer, right, I do recommend that each and every photographer should have their own website. Yeah, you should have your own website. No, don't get me wrong. You do need to be on each and every platform, like your Instagram, Facebook, what's the other photograph, like any other photograph based, any other photo based platforms. You need to be there, yes, but 9 times out of 10 I always stress that you should get your own website. As a photographer, like your website, it's your portfolio. This is how people can go and see your work. Because let's be honest, nowadays people actually judge you based on how your work is. Some people they can actually just quickly go to Instagram and then just search for your name, search for your Facebook. But in most cases, what I would say is that try and direct people to your website. No, I'm still busy with it right now. The thing is, like, I can't decide which pictures to actually put up and then upload onto the page. but I do recommend if you would go to a website, have a website, have it up, build it, everything. Even if you have to link it, like you have to save a copy of a link, then you just send it to people. Do that most of the time, because don't get me wrong, Instagram is not yours, it's Mark Zuckerberg's. Facebook is not yours, it's Mark Zuckerberg's. And usually they will have a cluster of things which are already all over there. So at times you just want to avoid that, so that people will actually only go and visit to your page. That's why in most cases I would definitely recommend having a website for future, forever and ever. Keep on updating it, keeping it neat. Consistency, it's not such a big deal as much, because most people, when they go into a website, they want to see maybe a difference of maybe a little bit of this, a little bit of that, because they want to see if you can actually do everything every time. Because let's be honest, most people, they will hire you for maybe a wedding, maybe just have a few wedding photos in there, have a few birthday parties photos in there, studio shoots. For professional people, just have what you do specifically in that photo, and then just have 1 or 2 or 3 or maybe 5 of the other ones that you actually just do on the side. Yeah, so in most cases, yeah, I think this should have been something like way at the beginning of the life of photographer. These are the phases. So this is just the beginning phase, where you start knowing about a camera, getting the dials, having multiple cameras, how to work with a camera, how to work with lights. These are all part of the phases that you actually go through. And then at the peak of all of this, it's maybe you deciding how to go about your photography. Maybe you want to do professional, maybe you want to do creative, but you also want to get paid for it. Yes, this is where you actually decide. And then once you've actually decided, then you can actually implement the necessary steps of marketing yourself to your potential clients, the people that you want to. So first and foremost, understand your camera. This is your baby, this is your lifelong bread. If you're thinking about making this a side hustle or an endeavor, just like me, this is where you should start. Know your camera, know your settings, know everything. What are the dials? What do they do? What is the purpose of those dials? Why do you need to switch from manual to automatic or flash? You do that, and then once you actually know that, know your lenses. That is the most crucial part. Know your lenses. Usually with these, your APC cameras, they will come with your kit lens, which is a 18 to 55. Try to master that lens, and then maybe at a later on stage, as you keep on progressing, going up and up, just have like maybe a 70, 75. I think I've actually spoken about this. I'll have the video somewhere where I actually talk about lenses. And then after having lenses, oh, one other thing, practice. We live in a digital world. You can't say, no, I only shoot for professionalism. No, just have a model or a friend who can actually do all these things for you. At the end of the day, just keep on shooting, keep on practicing, keep on trying different styles, keep on doing everything. Remember, here you're still at your peak, you still have that passion, you understand? So you're still at your peak. So once you're still at your peak, have that person that you maybe one or two or three that you actually work with. Keep on trying different styles, keep on trying different things, and then yes, also learn from other photographers as well. That's very much helpful because you're still at your peak. This is just your phase one. And then on my part two, I'll do the last ones where I'll just have to decide which one that I have to do. But if you're still going up in this, yeah, still going up, still do it, still practice. Even if it's like maybe once or twice a week, once or twice, or maybe every day, it doesn't matter. Just keep on, and then at the end of the day, you'll see your skills will become more and more efficient, and then you will start to know the camera like at the back of your hand, everything. Just keep on doing it. Alright, Expo out. It's been a while. Thank you for tuning into my channel. Oh, and the last thing, please like, subscribe, comment if there's anything. If you didn't like this, there's a thumbs down. If you liked it, there's a thumbs up. Anything, let me know if this is helpful on the comments down on the section below. Other than that, I'll see you on the part 2 of this, which is your editing. Wow. Me faces, she all up in my face. Fuck on cap, I'm a lion, I'm gon' pray. Bitch better pray. Yeah, got a do-rag on it, a wave. Nigga, yeah, fuck what you say. Pussy cat talking too much, nigga, like a black bitch. Relay with my vest like a bitch that